Okay, students, welcome back. Today we are going to be looking at some things that we can make using this homemade air dry clay. We are going to be able to make a lot of different things using this material, but we want to work pretty quickly with it because it will dry out. So the more we use it, the drier it's going to become and the more brittle and cracks are going to happen. So we are going to go ahead and pinch off just a little bit of this. You'll notice how soft it is. And today we're going to look at just a few basic techniques that we can do with any type of clay. So let's talk about the first one. The first technique I'm going to show you is one that we've probably practiced before, and it's just a sphere. How do we make a sphere using clay? So we're going to put this in our hand, and we're going to pinch off an amount that fits neatly in our palm, and we're going to roll in a circular motion with my palms flat. Okay, so that's going to get us pretty close to a ball. We want a nice even sphere. So you can make spheres to create a lot of different things. If I were to make different sizes, I can make a snowman. I could stack them and create a lot of different things. Today, you can use any of these techniques to make whatever you want, but I'm going to show you one more thing that we can do with the sphere now that it's this shape. We can take it and we can take our thumb, poke it down into the middle gently. This clay is very soft. We don't want to poke through the bottom, but I am pretty far down in there. I'm going to take my two fingers, almost like I'm making a little bird beak, and I am going to pinch very gently. I'm not squeezing hard. Pinch and turn. Notice how it's resting in the palm of my hand. I pinch and I'm going to squeeze that material, and when that happens, the material is going to travel this way and this way. That's because it can't go anywhere else, so it might go this way or this way, but I have to push it somewhere. So it's going to expand and it's going to get a little bit thinner. So I'm going to pinch and turn, pinch and turn. We are making what's known as a pinch pot. Pinch pot is one of the oldest forms of ceramic in the world, and this is how a lot of different tools were made out of clay from the earth, especially by Native American tribes. So we are just pinching and turning. I'm making sure my thumb was deep enough in there that I am near the bottom of my pinch pot. So if I see my finger moving down there, that tells me where I'm at. So I'm going to pinch, gently turn. Okay? So this would be a great way to make a bowl. You of course can't eat out of this bowl. That wouldn't be safe. But you could put jewelry in this. You could make a little trinket box. You can turn a pinch pot into a lot of different things, actually. So I'm going to set that guy aside. Making sure it's nice and even all around. Great. So now I have a really cool bowl. So let's talk about another technique. So remember, I told you this will dry out. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to continue to work with it so that all that dry clay that was on the outside is now mixed into it. So it can't get any drier in that one spot. Pinch off a little bit more. I'm going to roll this between my hands. This is what's known as a coil technique. It's kind of similar to a snake, if you've ever made a snake. And what I'm doing here, I'm not pushing on the clay. I am simply resting my fingers on it and I'm rolling back and forth. Even pressure. Notice I'm not going little tiny movements. I want nice, long rolls. So once it gets a little bit longer, I can actually start to use both hands. Remember, I'm not pushing. And here I can see I've got a little bit, it's a little bit thicker than over here. So here I want to push a little bit more. If you see it start to go flop, 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 that's telling you one side of your clay is a little bit too thick. So you might have to turn it on its thinner side and push it down a little bit, and that should fix your problem. Okay, so now I have a really long coil. Now remember, this is very fragile. My clay is not like the clay we have in class. It's really soft, so I need to be careful with it for whatever I'm going to use it for. So here, I could use a coil to make a lot of different things. You can even make a pot from a coil. If you decided to coil more upwards like this, you could make another pot, or you could make a snail if you wanted to. So over here I have a butter knife. Cut that in half. Here I'm going to pinch that a little bit together to make it stick. And then I could roll this side down. I'm angling my hand a little bit to make this side a little bit thinner. Pinch that in there. And then, of course, once it's dry, you could probably set it up like this. But for now, we want to leave it on its side so that it has a chance to dry. So we'll set him over there. So now we've talked about three things. So we talked about our sphere. We talked about our pinch pot. We talked about our coil. And let's talk about the very last one. We're going to use a technique called slab. S-L-A-B, slab, not slap, even though we might be doing a little bit of slapping. So I'm going to start with a sphere shape. And I'm going to lay that down on my wax paper. This is not something I would advise that you do on a table or a piece of paper because this part gets stickier than all of the rest of them. So make sure that you're using something that it's not going to stick to, or you have your parents' permission to work on your table. So I'm going to take the palm of my hand, the lower part, and I'm gently just going to pat all over the surface. Now, slabs can be used to do a lot of things. One of which is you can roll them out too using a like a bakery roller. Or you can just pat them out like we just did. You can use a cookie cutter and you can cut out a shape, or if you would like to, you can use just about anything that's sharp enough to do this. Doesn't have to be very sharp. I'm actually using the back of a butter knife. You just want a nice edge, and we can clean up any of that doesn't work out perfectly. So I'm going to clean that off, drag it through. Okay, so this would be a really fun way to make, maybe say an ornament, just about anything. I find this clay works really well with flat things. They're much less likely to break. Slabs, when they're a little bit more firm, you can pick them up and stick them together, and you can build things like houses. Here, I'm just using the back of a pencil eraser to stamp a design. You can use just about anything that has a texture, and this clay will pick up the texture very, very well. You can even scratch into the surface. This technique is known as sgraffito. It means to scratch. Okay, I think I like the way that looks. I might try to put a hole right here. That way later I can run a string through it. And I'm just going to leave these guys here, and I'm going to let them dry. I'm going to take whatever clay I have left, and I'm going to tightly put it in a Ziploc bag. And then we will see what else we can make with this stuff. Another great thing that you might try is taking a little bit of food coloring, pinching off different spheres, and adding some food coloring into this. Or you can wait until these dry and you can paint them. You can decorate them in just about any way that you want. So I really look forward to seeing if any of our students try this and to see what you make. I'm really looking forward to it. So I hope you enjoyed this project, and even if you don't have these materials at home, break out some Play-Doh, see what you can do. Okay, so in the meantime, I hope that everything in your world is going really, really well, and that you are still at home making and having the best time that you can out of this situation. Have a great day, guys.